YouTube. What it is, what it do. Boxing after dark with nocturnal thoughts. Hey, YouTube world, don't judge me. If I'm looking dusty and musty, trust me, it's because I am. I just got done with my little yard work, man. It's like 90 degrees, 91 degrees, front yard, backyard, knocked it out in an hour. And I think I'm gonna go down to my park and do this workout I seen on YouTube by a dude named, I gotta look up his name and I shoot it out there later on. But you know what I'm saying, Akeem something. But it was like within 10 minutes, do 10 muscle ups, do 50 pull ups, jog, 50 push ups, and then 50 dips. And do it within a 10-minute block of time. And that's going to be my workout for today. I still got a little bit of motivation to do that. Cutting the grass, got my sinuses going crazy and everything. But while I was cutting the grass, the only thing I could think about was the GWOAT conversation. The GWOAT, greatest woman of all times, Claressa Shields. You know what I'm saying? T-Rex. She a little monster, man. I fell in love with Claressa Shields when I first watched the T-Rex documentary on Netflix some years ago, right? But when she came out and she was talking to GWOAT, that's when, you know, it was getting serious. It was getting real. And she made her debut last night. First of all, let me say congratulations on her victory, on her debut. And I feel like it's a lot to be said, a lot to be talked about, a lot that was on my mind. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to chop it up and try to cover every base that it was on my mind. As far as the greatest of all times conversation in the woke conversation, because you know so many people, myself included, weren't just very hastily, you know what I'm saying, we wasn't sprinting to label her as the GWOAT, because she was talking to GWOAT before she even fought Christina Hammer, and she was only like a few fights in, you know, like I can't remember exactly now, but like I think maybe 7 fights in or something like that. And she was saying she was the greatest woman of all time, right? And people had hangups, and I had hangups thinking about it, because I always have hangups when you're talking about the greatest of all time, because I really don't break down things like that. I break down things like the greatest of your time, the greatest of the, you know what I'm saying, of your legacy, the greatest of your era. That's how I look at things. You know what I mean? Because everything develops and changes, and so many factors get brought into the game. It's very hard to ever determine who's the greatest of anything at any all-time spectrum. So, nevertheless, always the more. It always, hearing her talk about the GWOAT, slowly but surely I started to come around. She got past Christina Hammer, which impressed me and surprised me, because Christina Hammer was more established. She had a lot of physical attributes with you know what I'm saying, being a professional boxer longer, had a reach advantage. To me, she was a natural boxer. I thought she would stay on the outside and just jab. And only being 2-minute rounds, I didn't think Claressa Shields was going to be able to, you know what I'm saying, work her way inside and work the body and hurt Christina the way she did. And she put on an excellent performance, right? And she went on to defeat Ivana Habazin, and she beat Mary Eve Decor, and then she transitioned and crossed over to her first debut of MMA to fight, I forget the girl's names that she fought, Erica, something like that. But my thing is this: when you label yourself, or when you have been labeled the greatest of all time in a sport, it's usually because you are able to transcend the sport, where you become you know, internationally known, globally known for more than just what you do inside of the sport. It's what you do outside of the sport as well. And becoming the GOAT, or becoming the GWOAT, is even more than, you know what I'm saying, factoring in what you do. It also determines what's going on in the world around you and how you respond to it. So like when you have something that defines an era, or transcends an era in a time, it has to be something that affects the whole world globally, and the way you respond to it, you know what I'm saying, in and outside of your career, is what usually catapults you into being the greatest of all time, because that's what's going to make people remember you forever. You know what I'm saying? Not just your accomplishments in the sport. Like Muhammad Ali is the GOAT, the greatest of all time in boxing, not just because of his resume in the Thriller in Manila and his fights against um, Joe Frazier and George Foreman and Sonny Liston. It's the defining moments of, like, what was happening around the world. If there was no Vietnam War that he decided not to be, drafted into, and you know, going into going into the Vietnam, even just to box, you know what I'm saying, even just to be a boxer in Vietnam, mainly to just to go places and put on a performance. But he chose not to do that, and the situation that escalated from that decision, and how time played out for him, that elevated him into another level of recognition, and it gave him a different, you know what I'm saying, stage and platform. And without the Vietnam War, he would have been still one of the greatest boxers of all time, but he wouldn't have been labeled as the GOAT Muhammad Ali without the Vietnam War, or without being, you know what I'm saying, changing his name and joining the Nation of Islam and going on different TV shows and telling people, you know what I'm saying, bluebirds want to stay with bluebirds. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with wanting to stay with your own race, and taking off, doing things where he could go on a talk show and take over a talk show and out talk people that talk for a living. His poetry, you know what I'm saying, in and outside of the ring, things he accomplished. I'm not going to go over everything, but you understand what I'm saying. So when Mayweather is talking about being, you know what I'm saying, surpassing Muhammad Ali, he can't do that. First of all, there's nothing that ever has really happened in his lifetime directly to his life that made him respond to it in a way that's just universally going to, you know what I'm saying, vibrate to where everybody is affected by the decision he made going on with the world. There's been some close situations, like with, you know what I'm saying, George Floyd just being, pretty much murdered being caught murdered by the police, and the way it affected the world. Low key, people don't even talk about it that much, but you know what I'm saying, Floyd Mayweather came and paid for the funeral, which was to be saluted. But the times have changed, and that just stuff like that really don't, those vibrations they go out real quick now. They don't resonate as vibrant as they used to back in the day. But other than that, Floyd Money Mayweather, he's a philanthropist. I've seen him going out passing out Thanksgiving meals since he was like 19, 20 years old. I seen him, he paid for the funeral of the first guy he defeated to get the championship. He's done things that he don't get recognition for, or does he don't really put it out there. But nothing globally, universally has happened really in his career, inside and outside the ring, that has made him surpass Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying? He's mostly known for an undefeated record, and, the amount of money he's made in the business, financial aspect of Money Mayweather is what he's really being known for, is being flashy, flamboyant, and spending a lot of money on a lot of different watches and cars and mansions and strip clubs and things like this. And that's kind of where his legacy is going, and in the direction he's going in now with the exhibition, he's starting to even tarnish the boxing record of being 50-0. But that's neither here nor there. It really doesn't surpass Floyd Money Mayweather. In my mind, his life story really isn't more effective or surpassing than Mike Tyson's. Mike Tyson's story in his life and the things he went through in his life still had more impact on the world and is a better story and a better legacy than Floyd Money Mayweather's is. And you know, that's kind of running concurrent. And then you have, not to mention, Manny Pacquiao, who right now is gobbling up Floyd Money Mayweather's TBE status, going on to fight Adrian Broner, Keith Thurman, and Errol Spence. And that's to be continued. You know what I'm saying? Another video for another day. So when you're talking about the greatest woman of all times, and you're talking about Claressa Shields, it reminds me of when T.I. came out, the rapper, T.I.P., Harrison. When he came out and he said he was the king of the South. I wasn't ready to label him the king of the South. I come from the South. I grew up listening to Southern music. I remember living in Atlanta, and local rap artists would come out, like Kilo, and he came out with that song Cocaine. You know what I'm saying? And everybody was bumping Cocaine. You know, there's a white girl in town, her name is Cocaine. That old school joint. And then Outkast and Southern Playalistic Cadillac Funky Music. You know what I'm saying? It's that Southern Playalistic Cadillac Funky Music. So play as if you choose it. You better make sure you don't abuse it. We're gonna get you high. Southern Playalistic Cadillac, Andre 3000 and Big Boy, UGK, MJG, and 8 Ball, and you know what I'm saying, Suave House came out. And all this Southern music that I'm listening to, you know what I'm saying, one day you're here, the next day you're gone. You know what I mean? So when he came out and he said he was the king of the South, we was like, man, his first album was the South, period. Listening to that album was nothing but a replay of my whole life growing up. I'm like, man, this dude sound like so many people I grew up around, period, point blank. But I'm like, you're not the king of the South. But he kept on grinding. He self-titled himself that. He got the respect of all the artists. Nobody, Outkast was vouching for him. MJG and 8 Ball was vouching for him. UGK was vouching for him. 3-6 Mafia vouching for him. Everybody, you know what I'm saying, he proven himself. He destroyed Lil Flip lyrically. And he kept grinding and kept grinding and kept releasing hit after hit and album after album. You know what I'm saying? And got to a point where you have to say, you know what? If he want to call himself the king of the South, and he gonna wear the throne, he gonna wear the crown and sit on the throne and hold it down the way he doing, then who am I to say he's not the king? Now, I'm not gonna go too deep into TIP and all the other stuff he got into, blah 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 blah, because I'm not like a hip hop head. I don't care. But that's what Claressa Shields reminded me of off the rip, where she was like, I'm the GWOAT. I'm like, it's a little early for you to be calling yourself the GWOAT. But after a while, she's starting to do what she has to do to be labeled as the GWOAT. She's transcending the sport. When she goes into MMA and fights somebody that's a formidable opponent, who obviously poses a threat, who has physical attributes that could be dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Not the most skilled, but she didn't just jump in the baby pool. She tested the waters, and she had to sink or swim, and she swam. And she came out victorious. And she sparked a buzz where everybody's talking about Claressa Shields. And she looked good doing it. If she would have looked good losing, it still would have been a little bit of a setback, but it would have been even Steven. She could have went back into boxing and handled her business. But she looked good winning the way she did, pulling out a victory in a dramatic fashion. That pushes her up into more of a GWOAT status, because the way she's going to be captivating so many more people, and she's done things like spoken out for the water issue with Flint, Michigan, and she didn't do it like no, you know what I'm saying, no fluke where she just did it just for a little while and dropped it. She's still wearing the blue on her hair. She's still out there talking about the situation, because the situation is still going on. Now, that's not globally impactful, but it's another notch. It's another step towards solidifying and validating her claims as being the GWOAT. period, point blank. So I have to say congratulations. And she's young and she's still grinding. And the way I'm seeing her make moves and her mentality is she keeps making those moves, those chess moves. And when you make chess moves, you have to be crowned. You know what I'm saying? And when you surpass what other uh, fighters did before you within their own time, like Layla Ali or you know what I'm saying, Ann Wolf, and the list of names that people compare her to when it comes to female boxing. When you start doing things and accomplishing things in and outside of the ring, and then into the octagon doing things, and you establish, you know what I'm saying, and you've broken records, you've broken men's records, you've broken Lomachenko records, you've broken Olympic records. You can't hold one person, Savannah Marshall, over her head. Can't do it. And say that she's not the GOAT because of Savannah Marshall. Can't do it. Nope. Congratulations to T-Rex. My next video also was related to this situation, but I don't want to talk another 15-20 minutes about what I was going to talk about. So just stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, you know what I'm saying, hit the subscribe button. Welcome to the channel. I hope you appreciate the content. Leave me a comment. You know what I'm saying? I salute everybody out there, man. Be blessed, be safe, and let's, you know what I'm saying, let's keep talking about boxing and just staying positive. Shouts out to not only boxing, shout outs to blood boxing, shout outs to H Money, shouts out to Caps and Full, Chin Tuck Boxing. I don't want to forget nobody, but I know I am, so I apologize. Everybody that I tap into and leave a comment and leave a salute to, y'all know who y'all are. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all. I salute y'all. You know what I'm saying? Big ups from Nocturnal Thoughts. And stay tuned. Comment, thumbs up, and subscribe. Peace. I'm gone. Bow.